just bury them both.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
The Equalizer 4 is one of the most anticipated entries in the long-running action thriller franchise that has captivated audiences for decades, originating from the classic 1980s television series. This series has consistently focused on the story of Robert McCall, a former intelligence operative who leverages his extraordinary skills to deliver justice for those who cannot defend themselves. Over the years, the franchise has evolved from its television roots into a modern cinematic phenomenon, combining intense action sequences with the moral complexity of its protagonist. The previous films, including The Equalizer in 2014 and The Equalizer 2 in 2018, directed by Antoine Fuqua and starring the iconic Denzel Washington, set a high benchmark in the genre by blending suspenseful storytelling with a nuanced portrayal of vigilantism. The third film, released in 2023, expanded on this narrative by exploring McCall's deeper personal conflicts and placing him in morally challenging situations that questioned the limits of his sense of justice. Each installment has successfully balanced explosive action sequences with character-driven narratives, and this careful mix has ensured the franchise's continued relevance and popularity. Despite the widespread recognition of the third installment as a potential conclusion to McCall's journey, both Antoine Fuqua and Denzel Washington have hinted at the possibility of continuing the saga, leaving the door open for a fourth and even fifth film. As of now, The Equalizer 4 remains officially in development, with much of the plot and production details kept under wraps, yet public statements from the leading actor and director have generated substantial excitement and speculation among fans and industry insiders alike. Unlike its predecessors, which had clearly defined production timelines and marketing campaigns, The Equalizer 4 presents a unique situation where fan expectations and online rumors have created a mix of anticipation and misinformation. The current state of the film is such that there is no officially confirmed release date. Various online sources, social media discussions, and unofficial reports have circulated possible timelines, but none of these have been validated by the studio or the filmmakers. Similarly, a trailer that has gained attention online has been confirmed to be a fan-made creation rather than an official promotional release, further highlighting the need for caution when interpreting early information about the project. These elements, however, have not diminished public interest, rather, they have created an environment where speculation and anticipation contribute to the narrative surrounding the film. While concrete details remain limited, statements from Denzel Washington have provided some assurance that the story of Robert McCall will continue, suggesting that the character's journey is far from over. Washington has indicated his willingness to return for the next installments, implying that both The Equalizer 4 and 5 are possibilities, contingent on production and creative considerations. Antoine Fuqua, known for his meticulous approach to action filmmaking and character development, has expressed that while he originally intended the third film to serve as a fitting conclusion, the potential continuation of the series would depend on the strength of the story and the collaborative vision with Washington. This interplay of interest, caution, and creative decision-making illustrates the complex dynamics behind the development of major franchise films and reflects the careful planning involved in extending a beloved cinematic universe. At this stage, the narrative of The Equalizer 4 remains largely speculative, with no officially released plot summary or character arcs beyond what is publicly known from interviews and hints. Based on the trajectory of previous films, it is reasonable to anticipate that the story will continue to explore Robert McCall's commitment to justice while possibly introducing new antagonists or complex situations that test his moral compass. The franchise has historically emphasized McCall's strategic thinking, combat proficiency, and the ethical dilemmas he encounters when confronting powerful adversaries, and it is likely that these thematic elements will persist in the fourth installment. Potential plotlines may involve McCall facing international threats, delving deeper into his personal history, or interacting with new characters whose lives intertwine with his mission for justice. Despite the absence of official confirmation, these speculations are informed by the consistent narrative style of the series, which balances action with emotional depth and character development. The anticipation surrounding the plot is further heightened by the absence of spoilers, as the creators have maintained a strict level of secrecy, likely aiming to preserve the impact of key story revelations when the film is officially announced and released. This approach not only maintains suspense but also reinforces the franchise's reputation for high-stakes storytelling where audiences are fully immersed in the moral and physical challenges faced by the protagonist. The production aspects of The Equalizer 4 are similarly in a state of anticipation, with little publicly available information regarding the filming schedule, shooting locations, or additional cast members. While Denzel Washington's participation is strongly indicated, details regarding supporting actors, potential villains, and new characters remain speculative. Given the global popularity of the franchise, it is plausible that the filmmakers may incorporate international settings or high-profile actors to broaden the appeal and elevate the scale of the action sequences. The previous films have demonstrated a careful balance between narrative depth and cinematic spectacle, with choreographed action, practical stunts, and visually striking sequences that contribute to the overall tension and realism. Maintaining this balance in the fourth film will likely be a priority, ensuring continuity in style and tone while introducing fresh elements to captivate both returning and new audiences. The secrecy surrounding production is consistent with modern blockbuster filmmaking practices, where early leaks or unverified rumors can significantly impact marketing strategies, audience expectations, and box office performance. By controlling the flow of information and strategically releasing details, the studio can maximize interest and create a controlled build-up toward the film's eventual release. The lead character, Robert McCall, portrayed by Denzel Washington, remains the central figure around which the franchise revolves. McCall's persona combines intelligence, resourcefulness, and a deep moral code, making him a compelling and enduring figure in modern action cinema. His unique approach to justice, often operating outside traditional legal frameworks, allows the narrative to explore themes of morality, retribution, and the consequences of violence. The consistent depiction of McCall across the series has reinforced audience attachment to the character, creating high expectations for his portrayal in The Equalizer 4. Washington's involvement not only ensures continuity but also brings credibility, gravitas, and charisma that have become synonymous with the franchise's identity. Beyond the protagonist, the supporting cast, once revealed, is expected to contribute significantly to both the narrative tension and emotional resonance of the film, further enhancing its potential impact on audiences and critics alike. While details are currently unknown, the involvement of skilled actors in key roles, combined with Antoine Fuqua's directorial vision, suggests that the ensemble will maintain the franchise's standard of compelling character dynamics and engaging performances. Beyond the central character, the cultural and cinematic significance of the Equalizer franchise plays a crucial role in shaping audience expectations for the fourth installment. The series has consistently been recognized for blending classic action tropes with modern storytelling techniques, creating a hybrid style that appeals to both traditional action fans and viewers who value character-driven narratives. Robert McCall, as a character, is emblematic of this approach, embodying the archetype of a lone vigilante while simultaneously navigating complex moral landscapes. His actions are not merely physical confrontations, they are grounded in intelligence, careful planning, and ethical reasoning, which sets him apart from many contemporary action heroes who rely primarily on brute force. This distinctiveness has helped maintain the franchise's relevance over nearly a decade of cinematic storytelling, and it provides a strong foundation for The Equalizer 4 to build upon. By continuing to emphasize the balance between thoughtful problem-solving and intense, meticulously choreographed action, the filmmakers have an opportunity to reinforce the franchise's unique identity while introducing new challenges and dimensions to McCall's character. The anticipation surrounding this installment is therefore not only about the plot but also about the continued evolution of a character who has become emblematic of modern action cinema's capacity for moral and narrative depth. The narrative continuity of The Equalizer 4 is also a topic of significant discussion among industry analysts and fans. While each film has been designed to stand on its own, the overarching character arc of McCall provides a thread that connects all entries in the series. In the first film, audiences were introduced to McCall as a retired intelligence officer seeking a quiet life, who is drawn back into conflict by circumstances that compel him to intervene on behalf of the vulnerable. The second installment expanded on this premise, exploring deeper personal relationships and ethical dilemmas, while the third installment delved into McCall's past and placed him in situations that tested his principles and resilience. For the fourth film, it is expected that this evolution will continue, potentially revealing new facets of McCall's backstory, exploring unresolved conflicts, or introducing antagonists whose complexity matches or exceeds the hero's capabilities. This continuity ensures that long-term fans feel a sense of investment in the series while simultaneously providing newcomers with a high-quality action narrative that is accessible without prior detailed knowledge of earlier films. The careful calibration between continuity and accessibility has been a hallmark of successful franchises, and the Equalizer series demonstrates an acute awareness of these dynamics. Another dimension of the Equalizer 4 that contributes to its anticipation is the international context in which action cinema operates today. Modern action films often aim to combine local narrative depth with global appeal, leveraging international settings, culturally resonant themes, and universally compelling characters. Although the specific locations for the fourth film have not been disclosed, it is plausible to expect a blend of domestic and international environments, which would allow for diverse action set pieces, high-stakes drama, and engagement with audiences across multiple markets. This approach not only enhances the visual and narrative appeal but also positions the film strategically in the global box office landscape. By incorporating varied geographic and cultural elements, The Equalizer 4 has the potential to elevate the franchise from a popular domestic series to a truly international cinematic event, reinforcing the brand and ensuring continued relevance in an increasingly competitive entertainment environment. The careful selection of locations, combined with Fuqua's directorial sensibility, is likely to ensure that each setting contributes meaningfully to the narrative rather than serving solely as a backdrop, thereby maintaining narrative coherence alongside visual spectacle. The question of production methodology is equally significant for understanding the scope and ambition of The Equalizer 4. Antoine Fuqua is renowned for his commitment to realism in action sequences, often favoring practical effects, carefully choreographed stunts, and meticulous attention to environmental detail. These elements contribute to a sense of immediacy and intensity that has become a signature of the franchise. In addition, the cinematography of previous installments has consistently emphasized a gritty, realistic aesthetic, enhancing the believability of action sequences and grounding them in a palpable world. Maintaining this level of craftsmanship in the fourth film is essential to preserving the franchise's identity, and it requires careful coordination among stunt coordinators, cinematographers, special effects teams, and the director himself. The integration of technology, such as advanced camera rigs and visual effects enhancements, is expected to complement rather than overshadow practical filmmaking, ensuring that audiences experience a visceral sense of engagement with the narrative. Given the high expectations set by the previous films, the production of The Equalizer 4 will likely involve extensive pre-production planning, including detailed storyboarding, choreography, and location scouting, all aimed at maximizing both narrative and visual impact. Marketing and audience anticipation for The Equalizer 4 are already notable despite the absence of an official release date. The series benefits from an established fan base, and the involvement of Denzel Washington ensures that attention from mainstream media, industry insiders, and casual moviegoers is significant. However, the current lack of official promotional materials presents both challenges and opportunities. On one hand, the absence of confirmed information has led to widespread speculation and the circulation of unverified content, including fan-made trailers, rumors about casting, and imagined plot details. These speculative materials, while not officially sanctioned, play a role in shaping public expectations and maintaining engagement with the franchise. On the other hand, the studio has the opportunity to craft a strategic marketing campaign that capitalizes on this anticipation, carefully timing the release of teasers, trailers, and other promotional content to maximize impact. A deliberate and controlled approach to marketing can enhance the perceived value of the film, creating a sense of event cinema around its eventual release. The role of audience expectation in shaping the narrative trajectory of The Equalizer 4 cannot be understated. Over the years, the franchise has cultivated a loyal following that is deeply invested in Robert McCall as both a character and an ethical ideal. Fans have consistently praised the series not only for its action sequences but also for the intellectual and moral depth that McCall brings to each situation. This duality, combining physical prowess with strategic thinking and a strong moral compass, creates a standard of storytelling that audiences anticipate will continue into the fourth installment. The filmmakers must therefore navigate a delicate balance, honoring established expectations while introducing new, surprising elements that prevent the narrative from becoming formulaic. Achieving this requires careful plotting, character development, and inventive action choreography, all of which contribute to a dynamic cinematic experience that satisfies long-term fans while remaining accessible to new viewers. The anticipation surrounding The Equalizer 4 is heightened precisely because the audience recognizes the franchise's capacity for both intensity and thoughtfulness, creating an expectation of cinematic excellence that is challenging but achievable given the talent involved. In examining potential plot developments for The Equalizer 4, it is useful to consider the narrative patterns established in the earlier films. McCall's story has consistently revolved around the central motif of justice, often placing him in situations where conventional legal frameworks are inadequate. The protagonist's responses are calculated and strategic, combining intelligence, combat skills, and a deep understanding of human behavior. In the fourth installment, it is plausible that these elements will continue to dominate the storyline, perhaps with additional layers of complexity introduced through more sophisticated antagonists or moral dilemmas that test McCall's principles. Furthermore, the series has a history of exploring McCall's personal connections and vulnerabilities, grounding his actions in a human context that enhances audience empathy and emotional investment. Speculatively, The Equalizer may further explore McCall's past, revealing untold aspects of his life, relationships, or covert operations, thereby enriching the narrative with psychological and ethical depth. This potential expansion of character exploration, combined with the franchise's signature action-driven sequences, positions the film to offer both narrative complexity and thrilling spectacle. The technological and cinematic elements of The Equalizer 4 are also likely to play a significant role in shaping the film's reception. Antoine Fuqua's direction is known for integrating practical stunts with precise cinematography, creating action sequences that feel both real and immersive. The evolution of filmmaking technology offers opportunities to enhance these sequences further, using advanced camera systems, dynamic lighting, and subtle visual effects that augment realism without overshadowing the practical choreography. Sound design and score are similarly critical, as the auditory landscape in previous films has been integral to building tension, emphasizing dramatic moments, and creating a rhythmic interplay between action and character development. For The Equalizer 4, attention to these cinematic details will likely remain paramount, ensuring that the sensory experience aligns with the narrative intensity and emotional weight of the story. By combining technical expertise with narrative sophistication, the filmmakers can continue the franchise's tradition of producing high-caliber action thrillers that are both visually compelling and thematically resonant. Another important aspect to consider is the potential for The Equalizer 4 to explore contemporary social and cultural themes. While the franchise primarily functions as an action thriller, its underlying narrative is deeply intertwined with notions of justice, power, and ethical responsibility. Modern audiences increasingly seek films that not only entertain but also engage with relevant social issues, whether through subtle allegory or direct narrative engagement. The protagonist's vigilantism, while fictional, can serve as a lens through which viewers contemplate issues such as corruption, inequality, and moral accountability. It is conceivable that The Equalizer 4 could introduce scenarios that reflect contemporary global challenges, integrating these themes into the personal and professional dilemmas faced by McCall. By doing so, the film would maintain the franchise's reputation for thoughtful storytelling while offering audiences a reflective dimension that complements the excitement of the action sequences. This approach would continue the series' tradition of blending visceral thrills with intellectual engagement, reinforcing its unique place in the landscape of modern action cinema. The interplay between continuity and innovation is also likely to be central to The Equalizer 4's creative strategy. Maintaining continuity with previous films ensures that established character arcs, thematic motifs, and stylistic choices are respected, preserving the coherence of the franchise as a whole. At the same time, innovation is necessary to prevent narrative stagnation and to offer audiences new experiences within the familiar framework of the series. This balance can manifest in various ways: the introduction of novel narrative structures, unexpected plot twists, or complex characters whose motivations challenge conventional notions of good and evil. Additionally, inventive action sequences that deviate from established patterns while retaining the series' signature realism can contribute to the sense of freshness and engagement. In essence, The Equalizer 4 has the potential to expand the franchise's creative boundaries while remaining faithful to the elements that have defined its success. The careful integration of continuity and innovation will be crucial in meeting audience expectations and sustaining the franchise's cultural and commercial relevance. Finally, the anticipation surrounding The Equalizer 4 highlights the broader dynamics of contemporary blockbuster filmmaking. In today's cinematic landscape, franchise continuity, star power, audience engagement, and strategic marketing are all intertwined, creating a complex ecosystem in which films are both creative endeavors and commercial products. The Equalizer series exemplifies this dynamic, as its sustained popularity relies not only on the quality of individual films but also on the cumulative narrative and emotional investment cultivated over multiple installments. Denzel Washington's involvement, Antoine Fuqua's direction, and the careful stewardship of narrative and aesthetic continuity collectively ensure that the franchise remains a significant player in the action thriller genre. As the development of The Equalizer 4 progresses, these factors will continue to shape the film's trajectory, determining not only its narrative content but also its reception, cultural impact, and commercial success. The culmination of these elements promises a cinematic experience that is simultaneously thrilling, morally engaging, and culturally resonant, embodying the essence of what has made the franchise enduringly popular and critically significant. Fan engagement has been a defining element in sustaining the popularity of the Equalizer franchise, and it is likely to play an even more critical role as anticipation for the fourth film builds. Social media platforms, online forums, and fan communities have actively speculated about the potential direction of the film, with discussions ranging from imagined plotlines to casting rumors and creative conjectures. This kind of engagement creates a feedback loop in which the audience's expectations influence the discourse surrounding the franchise, while also shaping the promotional strategies that the studio may eventually deploy. The phenomenon of fan-driven speculation is particularly potent in cases like The Equalizer 4, where official information is scarce, leaving space for imagination and projection. Fans frequently analyze previous films to infer potential narrative developments, discuss possible antagonists, and theorize about unresolved plot threads. This ongoing interaction between creators and audiences underscores a shift in modern cinematic culture, where the participatory nature of fandom can affect both perception and anticipation, creating a dynamic environment that extends beyond the screen. The level of engagement demonstrates the depth of investment viewers have in Robert McCall as a character, reflecting both their emotional attachment and their appreciation for the moral and intellectual complexity that defines his actions. In the context of modern blockbuster filmmaking, The Equalizer 4 is situated within an increasingly competitive landscape. Action thrillers today are measured not only by the intensity of their sequences but also by the sophistication of their narratives, character development, and thematic relevance. Studios are compelled to balance audience desires for spectacle with their appetite for stories that resonate on a deeper level. For the Equalizer franchise, this balance has been a defining feature, distinguishing it from many contemporary action series that prioritize visual effects over narrative coherence. The fourth installment is therefore expected to continue emphasizing character-driven storytelling alongside high-octane action, maintaining the franchise's reputation for intellectual engagement as well as entertainment. This duality not only satisfies long-term fans but also attracts new audiences who seek depth and complexity in addition to thrilling sequences. It is this combination of qualities that has allowed the Equalizer series to achieve enduring relevance, and it will be essential for the fourth film to sustain this approach if it aims to meet or exceed the expectations set by its predecessors. The anticipation for The Equalizer 4 also highlights broader considerations about the role of franchise longevity in contemporary cinema. Long-running series rely on consistent character portrayal, coherent narrative evolution, and the careful management of audience expectations. Robert McCall, as portrayed by Denzel Washington, embodies the continuity that anchors the franchise, while the evolving plots and diverse settings provide opportunities for creative exploration. In this context, the fourth film is not merely another installment, it is an opportunity to deepen the character's arc, explore unresolved narrative threads, and potentially redefine the boundaries of the franchise. The filmmakers must therefore navigate the delicate task of honoring the established identity of the series while introducing fresh elements that keep the audience engaged. This requires meticulous attention to storytelling, pacing, and visual composition, ensuring that each sequence contributes meaningfully to both the narrative and the cinematic experience. By successfully balancing continuity and innovation, The Equalizer 4 can reinforce its position as a significant cultural and commercial entity within the action thriller genre. Marketing strategies for The Equalizer 4 are also likely to reflect contemporary trends in audience engagement, combining traditional promotional methods with innovative digital outreach. Teasers, trailers, behind-the-scenes content, and strategic social media campaigns can be expected to generate excitement while carefully controlling the flow of information. In the current climate, where fan-made content and speculation can spread rapidly, managing the narrative around the film is critical. Studios must craft messaging that maintains anticipation without overexposing key plot points or creating unrealistic expectations. This approach ensures that the eventual release is experienced as a highly anticipated event, maximizing both audience satisfaction and commercial performance. The interaction between marketing and fan engagement exemplifies the modern blockbuster ecosystem, in which audience perception, media coverage, and strategic promotion collectively shape the reception of a film long before it appears on screens. The international dimension of The Equalizer 4 is another area of potential significance. As global box office considerations increasingly influence production decisions, the incorporation of diverse geographic settings, culturally resonant themes, and universally engaging narratives can enhance a film's appeal. While specific locations and plot details have not been confirmed, it is reasonable to anticipate that the filmmakers may employ a variety of settings that allow for visually compelling action sequences and complex narrative developments. International appeal is not merely about spectacle, it also involves crafting situations and characters that resonate across cultural contexts, ensuring that the ethical dilemmas, conflicts, and stakes of McCall's journey are universally comprehensible. By carefully integrating these elements, The Equalizer 4 has the potential to expand the franchise's reach, attracting audiences from multiple regions while maintaining the narrative coherence and intensity that define the series. Production challenges and considerations are another critical aspect of understanding the development of The Equalizer 4. Coordinating large-scale action sequences, managing complex stunt choreography, and integrating practical effects with subtle visual enhancements require meticulous planning and collaboration among multiple departments. Antoine Fuqua's directorial style emphasizes precision, realism, and narrative coherence, suggesting that pre-production efforts are likely to be intensive. Detailed storyboarding, location scouting, and stunt coordination will be essential in ensuring that each sequence achieves the desired impact. Additionally, the integration of sound design, music scoring, and post-production visual enhancements must complement the narrative rather than detract from it, maintaining the immersive quality that audiences have come to expect from the franchise. These production elements are vital not only for the quality of the final film but also for reinforcing the franchise's reputation for high-caliber action thriller storytelling. Finally, the potential narrative and thematic directions of The Equalizer 4 suggest opportunities for both continuity and expansion. The franchise has consistently explored themes of justice, morality, and personal responsibility, anchored by McCall's calculated and principled approach to resolving conflicts. The fourth film may further develop these themes, presenting new challenges that test the protagonist's moral compass while deepening audience understanding of his motivations and vulnerabilities. Potential antagonists may be crafted with equal complexity, providing intellectual and physical opposition that elevates the stakes of the narrative. Additionally, the film could explore contemporary social issues, subtly integrating reflections on justice, corruption, or ethical dilemmas within the action framework. By combining these narrative strategies with meticulously crafted action sequences and immersive cinematography, The Equalizer 4 has the potential to uphold the franchise's tradition of delivering engaging, thought-provoking, and commercially successful cinema. The thematic depth of The Equalizer 4 is expected to play a significant role in distinguishing the film from other action thrillers. While the franchise has always been rooted in visceral action sequences, the underlying moral and ethical questions surrounding Robert McCall's vigilantism provide a richer layer of engagement for the audience. The concept of justice as both a personal and societal obligation has been central to McCall's characterization, and it is likely that the fourth film will continue to explore the tension between individual action and institutional authority. This creates an intricate moral landscape where McCall's decisions are not merely about defeating adversaries but also about navigating the consequences of operating outside conventional legal frameworks. The potential narrative possibilities are vast, including scenarios where McCall must reconcile his own moral code with increasingly complex societal or global threats, thereby challenging both his physical abilities and his ethical judgment. By maintaining this focus, The Equalizer 4 can offer a thought-provoking dimension that elevates the film above standard action fare, reinforcing the franchise's reputation for blending cerebral storytelling with high-intensity spectacle. Character arcs within The Equalizer 4 are likely to build on the foundation established in previous installments, while also introducing new dimensions to Robert McCall's persona. Historically, McCall has been portrayed as methodical, disciplined, and highly intelligent, yet the films have gradually revealed vulnerabilities that humanize him and enhance audience empathy. The fourth film may further explore these vulnerabilities, perhaps through relationships, past traumas, or ethical dilemmas that challenge his established principles. Supporting characters, whether allies or antagonists, are also expected to be crafted with depth, serving as foils or complements to McCall's character while adding layers of narrative complexity. These interactions are not only important for driving plot dynamics but also for enriching the psychological and emotional resonance of the film. By carefully developing character relationships and moral conflicts, the filmmakers can create a compelling narrative that sustains audience investment over the course of the movie, while also providing a foundation for potential sequels or spin-offs within the franchise universe. Comparisons to other contemporary action franchises highlight the unique positioning of the Equalizer series. While many action films prioritize spectacle and special effects, the Equalizer films emphasize strategic thinking, moral dilemmas, and the psychological dimensions of conflict. This sets the franchise apart in an industry saturated with formulaic narratives, offering viewers a combination of physical excitement and intellectual engagement. In a landscape dominated by superhero films, large-scale sci-fi action, and CGI-heavy blockbusters, the Equalizer series maintains a grounded and realistic approach, favoring practical stunts, character-driven conflict, and narrative plausibility. This distinction contributes to the franchise's enduring appeal, particularly among audiences who appreciate action films that challenge their perceptions and present nuanced protagonists rather than relying solely on spectacle. The fourth installment has the potential to reinforce this positioning by continuing to prioritize narrative intelligence, moral complexity, and immersive action, thereby solidifying its status as a distinctive voice in modern cinema. The anticipation for The Equalizer 4 also intersects with broader industry trends, including the evolving expectations of audiences, the globalization of cinema, and the impact of streaming platforms on franchise visibility. Audiences today are not passive consumers, they actively seek engagement, speculate on narratives, and participate in fandom culture. This interactive dynamic amplifies the importance of strategic marketing, audience communication, and the careful release of promotional materials. Internationally, the franchise has the opportunity to resonate with diverse audiences by incorporating globally recognizable locations, themes, and cultural references. This approach not only broadens the market potential but also enriches the narrative texture, allowing the film to function simultaneously as a culturally nuanced story and a universally accessible action spectacle. Streaming platforms further complicate the landscape, providing additional avenues for promotion, distribution, and long-term audience engagement, which may influence decisions regarding narrative pacing, character development, and production design. Box office considerations are another significant factor shaping The Equalizer 4. The franchise's commercial performance to date has demonstrated strong audience demand, with each installment achieving considerable success through a combination of critical approval, word of mouth, and effective marketing. The fourth film, building on the established fan base, star power of Denzel Washington, and Antoine Fuqua's directorial credibility, is likely to aim for both domestic and international box office success. Predicting the exact commercial outcome is inherently speculative, but the strategic integration of narrative sophistication, visual spectacle, and audience engagement positions the film favorably within the current market. Effective management of expectations, timely promotional campaigns, and careful coordination with distribution partners will be crucial in maximizing commercial returns while maintaining the integrity and artistic quality of the film. The role of ethical and moral complexity in The Equalizer 4 is particularly noteworthy. Unlike many action heroes whose decisions are primarily reactive or physically driven, Robert McCall's approach involves deliberate calculation, strategic foresight, and moral reflection. This nuanced approach allows the narrative to explore ethical ambiguity, the consequences of vigilantism, and the personal cost of justice. The fourth installment may push these themes further, potentially placing McCall in scenarios where conventional right and wrong are blurred, compelling both the character and the audience to confront challenging questions about morality, responsibility, and the nature of justice. By emphasizing these elements, the film can elevate its thematic resonance and reinforce the franchise's commitment to providing intellectually and emotionally engaging action cinema. In addition to narrative and thematic considerations, technical execution remains central to the anticipated success of The Equalizer 4. The franchise's signature approach to action, grounded in realism, meticulously choreographed sequences, and immersive cinematography, has contributed significantly to its reputation. Sound design, lighting, and editing are equally integral, creating tension, pacing, and visual cohesion that heighten audience engagement. The fourth installment is likely to continue employing these techniques, integrating modern advancements in filmmaking technology to enhance the cinematic experience without compromising the grounded, realistic aesthetic that defines the series. This careful attention to technical craft ensures that the film not only meets audience expectations but also advances the standards of action thriller filmmaking in a competitive cinematic landscape. The production of The Equalizer 4 is anticipated to be a complex undertaking, reflecting both the scale of modern action filmmaking and the franchise's established standards for quality. While specific details regarding shooting locations, production timelines, and set design have not been officially disclosed, industry observers have speculated that the film may continue the series' tradition of utilizing real-world locations to create immersive, visually compelling environments. Practical sets, carefully chosen urban landscapes, and possibly international locales could serve to heighten the realism of action sequences while providing narrative richness that complements the film's thematic concerns. Filming may also involve advanced safety protocols and choreography for high-intensity stunts, ensuring that the sequences maintain the visceral impact audiences expect while protecting the cast and crew. Antoine Fuqua's directorial style, known for meticulous planning and emphasis on realism, suggests that the production will involve extensive pre-visualization, detailed storyboarding, and precise coordination among multiple departments to achieve a seamless integration of narrative, action, and visual composition. Character development in The Equalizer 4 is likely to explore new dimensions of Robert McCall's persona while introducing supporting characters who challenge, complement, or complicate his journey. McCall's established traits, strategic intelligence, moral rigor, and combat proficiency, provide a foundation for nuanced exploration of vulnerability, emotional depth, and ethical conflict. Potential scenarios may involve McCall confronting adversaries whose motives are morally ambiguous, forcing him to navigate complex ethical terrain and make difficult choices that test both his principles and his emotional resilience. Supporting characters may serve multiple narrative functions, as allies who provide insight, as foils who highlight aspects of McCall's personality, or as antagonists whose actions catalyze narrative tension. These dynamics will likely be central to the film's storytelling strategy, ensuring that the plot is not driven solely by action sequences but by meaningful character interactions and moral dilemmas that enrich the cinematic experience. By carefully developing these character arcs, The Equalizer 4 has the potential to deepen audience investment, enhance narrative coherence, and provide fertile ground for sequels or spin-offs. Marketing strategies for the Equalizer 4 are expected to be both sophisticated and highly targeted, reflecting contemporary trends in audience engagement and promotional media. The franchise's established fan base provides a ready audience, but the studio must also attract casual viewers and international markets to maximize impact. Social media platforms, teaser campaigns, interactive content, and controlled release of trailers can generate excitement while carefully managing expectations. The current scarcity of confirmed information allows the studio to strategically release details in a phased manner, building suspense and ensuring that each announcement or promotional asset achieves maximum attention. This deliberate pacing of marketing also mitigates the risk of misinformation, such as the circulation of fan-made trailers and speculative rumors, which could distort audience perception. By leveraging digital engagement, cross-platform promotion, and timing strategies, the studio can create an anticipatory environment that positions the Equalizer 4 as a major cinematic event upon its eventual release. Cultural impact is another dimension in which the Equalizer may achieve significance. Beyond its role as an action thriller, the franchise has historically engaged with themes of justice, morality, and individual responsibility, resonating with contemporary societal conversations. The protagonist's vigilantism offers a lens through which viewers can explore ethical questions about power, accountability, and the limits of institutional authority. The fourth film may further these explorations, potentially integrating contemporary issues such as systemic corruption, personal justice, and the moral complexities of intervention in a globalized world. These thematic concerns can elevate the film beyond pure entertainment, allowing it to function as a cultural commentary while maintaining the excitement and engagement of high-stakes action. By integrating these elements thoughtfully, the Equalizer 4 has the potential to reinforce the franchise's relevance not only within cinematic discourse but also within broader cultural conversations. The interplay between narrative sophistication and commercial viability is a critical consideration for the Equalizer 4. While the franchise has consistently emphasized moral and ethical depth alongside action, the commercial pressures of contemporary filmmaking necessitate attention to market appeal, audience expectations, and box office performance. Strategic alignment of storytelling, marketing, and production values is essential to ensure that the film achieves both artistic integrity and commercial success. The presence of Denzel Washington, with his considerable star power and association with quality cinema, further enhances the film's potential to draw audiences while maintaining credibility. The collaboration between Washington and Antoine Fuqua, along with a carefully managed production and marketing strategy, positions the film to succeed in balancing narrative depth, thrilling action, and financial performance. Audience expectations surrounding the Equalizer 4 are inherently shaped by the franchise's history, previous narrative arcs, and the character development of Robert McCall. Viewers anticipate not only compelling action sequences but also intelligent, morally engaging storytelling that challenges assumptions and stimulates reflection. The careful orchestration of suspense, pacing, and plot reveals will be crucial in meeting these expectations, ensuring that the film resonates with both longtime fans and new audiences. By maintaining this focus, the filmmakers can create a cinematic experience that is immersive, satisfying, and reflective of the franchise's distinctive qualities, continuing the tradition of thought-provoking action thriller storytelling that has defined the series. Finally, the potential success of the Equalizer 4 depends on the integration of multiple elements: narrative complexity, character depth, technical excellence, marketing strategy, and cultural resonance. Each component contributes to the overall impact of the film, and the careful coordination of these aspects is essential in producing a work that is both commercially successful and artistically compelling. By adhering to the franchise's established standards while introducing fresh narrative and technical innovations, the Equalizer 4 can continue the legacy of the series, providing audiences with a cinematic experience that is intellectually engaging, emotionally resonant, and viscerally thrilling. The culmination of these factors underscores the multifaceted challenges and opportunities inherent in developing a high-profile franchise installment, reflecting the intricate interplay between artistry, commerce, and audience engagement in modern cinema. The Equalizer 4 exists within a larger cinematic landscape where long-running action franchises compete for audience attention, critical acclaim, and commercial success. Comparing this series to other contemporary action franchises highlights its unique positioning. While franchises such as John Wick, Mission Impossible, or the Fast and Furious series emphasize relentless action, spectacle, and expansive set pieces, The Equalizer has distinguished itself through a careful blend of intelligence-driven strategy, moral complexity, and immersive, character-focused storytelling. Robert McCall is not simply a combat specialist or a figure of physical dominance. He is a methodical thinker, a strategist who evaluates risk, morality, and consequence with precision. This cerebral approach to action creates a narrative depth that is often absent in more conventional franchise installments, allowing audiences to engage with both the intellectual and emotional dimensions of conflict. By maintaining this balance in The Equalizer 4, the filmmakers have the opportunity to reinforce the series' distinct identity, appealing to viewers who seek more than spectacle alone while still delivering the adrenaline-fueled sequences expected of a modern action thriller. A deeper moral and ethical analysis of the potential narrative in The Equalizer 4 reveals the complexities inherent in Robert McCall's role as a vigilante. Unlike traditional heroes whose objectives are clearly aligned with societal norms, McCall operates outside conventional legal frameworks, making decisions that are guided by personal codes of justice rather than formal authority. This framework allows the narrative to explore ethical ambiguities, including the consequences of vigilantism, the weight of personal responsibility, and the moral implications of intervening in the lives of others. In the fourth installment, it is plausible that McCall may face adversaries whose motives challenge his ethical certainties, requiring him to navigate situations where right and wrong are not easily defined. Such narrative choices provide fertile ground for both dramatic tension and audience reflection, inviting viewers to consider the complexities of justice in a world that is rarely black and white. By continuing to foreground these moral dilemmas, The Equalizer 4 can sustain the franchise's reputation for intellectually engaging action while reinforcing the emotional and philosophical stakes of the protagonist's journey. Audience reception will play a critical role in determining the success and cultural impact of The Equalizer 4. Given the franchise's established fan base, expectations are inherently high, and viewers are likely to scrutinize the film for continuity, narrative coherence, character consistency, and the balance between action and thematic depth. Positive reception will depend on the filmmaker's ability to deliver a narrative that is simultaneously familiar and innovative, providing satisfying character development while introducing new conflicts and challenges. Moreover, the film's success in engaging both domestic and international audiences will hinge on its capacity to resonate emotionally and thematically across cultural contexts, ensuring accessibility while preserving narrative integrity. The careful management of suspense, pacing, and storytelling will therefore be crucial in shaping critical and audience responses, influencing not only immediate box office performance but also the franchise's long-term reputation. Long-term franchise implications for The Equalizer 4 are significant. The potential continuation into a fifth installment depends heavily on the film's reception, both commercially and critically. Successful execution of character arcs, thematic exploration, and high-quality production can pave the way for subsequent entries, allowing the franchise to expand its narrative universe and explore new directions in both storytelling and action choreography. Conversely, missteps in balancing audience expectations, narrative coherence, or technical execution could limit the franchise's trajectory, emphasizing the high stakes involved in producing a fourth installment. The presence of Denzel Washington as the central figure and Antoine Fuqua as the director provides a stabilizing influence, ensuring continuity in vision, tone, and style, but even these elements must be complemented by thoughtful writing, meticulous production, and strategic marketing to secure long-term viability. The interplay between technological innovation and narrative sophistication is also likely to define the fourth film's impact. Advances in filmmaking technology, including high-definition cinematography, enhanced practical effects, and integrated visual effects, allow for more dynamic and immersive action sequences, while also enabling subtle enhancements to storytelling, mood, and character expression. These tools, when applied judiciously, can amplify audience engagement without undermining the grounded realism that characterizes the franchise. The Equalizer 4 is therefore positioned at a critical juncture, where the thoughtful integration of technology can enhance both spectacle and narrative coherence, reinforcing the series' established strengths while demonstrating its adaptability to contemporary filmmaking trends. The franchise's commitment to balancing moral complexity, character-driven narrative, and immersive action distinguishes it from competitors and offers opportunities for broader cultural resonance. By exploring themes of justice, personal responsibility, and ethical ambiguity, the fourth installment can contribute meaningfully to discussions beyond the cinematic sphere, engaging audiences in reflection on contemporary social and moral issues. This capacity to merge entertainment with intellectual engagement enhances the franchise's relevance, ensuring that it remains a topic of discussion in both popular culture and critical discourse. Additionally, the potential inclusion of diverse settings, contemporary issues, and globally resonant themes allows the film to reach wider audiences, reinforcing its position as a significant entry in modern action cinema. Finally, The Equalizer 4 embodies the intersection of artistry, commerce, and audience expectation in contemporary filmmaking. Its success will depend on harmonizing narrative depth, character development, technical execution, marketing strategy, and cultural resonance. The careful alignment of these elements, guided by the expertise of Antoine Fuqua and the star power of Denzel Washington, positions the film to meet the dual objectives of artistic credibility and commercial viability. By sustaining the franchise's hallmark qualities, strategic intelligence, moral complexity, emotional depth, and realistic action, while innovating in response to evolving audience expectations and technological possibilities, The Equalizer 4 has the potential to solidify its legacy as a compelling, thought-provoking, and commercially successful action thriller. Marketing projections for The Equalizer 4 are anticipated to reflect a sophisticated and multi-tiered approach, designed to capitalize on both the franchise's established fan base and the potential for attracting new audiences. In the contemporary film industry, marketing strategies must extend beyond traditional trailers and posters to encompass social media engagement, interactive campaigns, and digital content that allows audiences to experience the film's narrative world prior to release. While no official promotional materials have been released for The Equalizer 4, the scarcity of information itself creates a fertile environment for anticipation, speculation, and strategic marketing deployment. The controlled release of teasers, behind-the-scenes content, and character-focused vignettes can generate sustained engagement, gradually building excitement while maintaining suspense. This phased approach to marketing not only preserves narrative surprises but also maximizes the cultural visibility of the film, positioning it as a major cinematic event when it eventually reaches theaters. Additionally, the franchise's international appeal necessitates marketing strategies that are culturally adaptive, capable of resonating across diverse geographic and demographic contexts without diluting the narrative's thematic core. Fan speculation has been a driving force in shaping the discourse around The Equalizer 4, particularly given the lack of confirmed plot details and official release information. Online forums, social media platforms, and fan communities have actively theorized about potential storylines, antagonists, and character developments, contributing to an anticipatory culture that keeps the franchise at the forefront of public attention. While some of this speculation has been informed by previous narrative patterns in the series, other elements stem from entirely imaginative conjecture, including unverified casting rumors and fan-created trailers. The dynamic between fan-generated content and official communications underscores the participatory nature of contemporary fandom, highlighting the influence of audience engagement on both narrative perception and marketing strategies. Studios increasingly recognize the value of these interactions, using fan interest to guide promotional priorities while maintaining careful control over the release of verified information. In the case of The Equalizer 4, this interplay between speculation and official narrative planning contributes to heightened anticipation, ensuring that the film remains a topic of discussion even in the absence of formal announcements. Action choreography in The Equalizer 4 is expected to continue the franchise's signature approach, which combines practical stunts, tactical combat sequences, and immersive cinematic realism. Antoine Fuqua's direction has consistently emphasized precision, intensity, and believability in action sequences, favoring grounded, physically plausible encounters over CGI-heavy spectacle. This approach not only enhances audience immersion but also reinforces the narrative credibility of Robert McCall as a skilled strategist and combatant. The fourth installment may explore increasingly complex action scenarios, incorporating multi-layered sequences that integrate environmental dynamics, close-quarter combat, vehicular pursuits, and strategic planning. Each sequence is likely to be meticulously storyboarded, rehearsed, and executed with attention to timing, spatial awareness, and character motivation, ensuring that the action advances both the narrative and the thematic resonance of the story. Furthermore, sound design, lighting, and camera work will contribute to the intensity and realism of each encounter, enhancing the visceral impact while maintaining narrative coherence. This meticulous approach to choreography distinguishes the Equalizer series within the action thriller genre and reinforces the franchise's commitment to high-quality cinematic craftsmanship. The broader industry impact of the Equalizer 4 is intertwined with its potential to reinforce the franchise's brand, influence trends in action filmmaking, and contribute to discussions regarding moral complexity and ethical ambiguity in cinema. By balancing narrative sophistication with technical execution and audience engagement, the film has the potential to set standards for future action thrillers, demonstrating how character-driven storytelling can coexist with immersive spectacle. The involvement of Denzel Washington, a highly respected and internationally recognized actor, further elevates the franchise's cultural relevance, signaling a commitment to performance quality alongside visual and narrative innovation. Additionally, the film's strategic positioning within a competitive cinematic landscape, where multiple franchises and high-profile releases compete for audience attention, emphasizes the importance of coherence, originality, and cultural resonance in sustaining long-term franchise viability. Through careful integration of these elements, The Equalizer may forth not only achieve commercial success but also reinforce the artistic and thematic identity of the series, contributing to its enduring influence within the action thriller genre. The intersection of narrative, technical, and marketing considerations highlights the intricate planning required for a high-profile installment like The Equalizer 4. Every component, from the development of morally complex scenarios and psychologically rich characters to the orchestration of immersive action sequences and culturally resonant marketing campaigns, must be aligned to ensure that the final product satisfies both audience expectations and industry standards. The film's success will likely hinge on its ability to deliver an integrated experience that balances storytelling, performance, spectacle, and ethical engagement, creating a cinematic event that resonates across demographic and geographic boundaries. This holistic approach to filmmaking reflects contemporary trends in blockbuster production, where the convergence of artistic ambition, audience participation, and commercial strategy determines both critical reception and long-term franchise viability. Anticipation for The Equalizer 4 also raises questions about the evolution of audience expectations and the shifting dynamics of cinematic engagement. In an era of instant access to information, viral speculation, and fan-driven discourse, the reception of a film is shaped not only by its content but also by the surrounding cultural conversation. The fourth installment of the franchise will be released into this environment, where prior installments, character history, and accumulated audience investment create a high bar for narrative, technical, and thematic excellence. Successfully navigating this landscape requires sensitivity to audience desires, strategic management of suspense and information, and careful orchestration of cinematic and marketing elements. The interplay between anticipation, speculation, and formal storytelling underscores the complex ecosystem in which contemporary blockbuster franchises operate, emphasizing the multifaceted challenges and opportunities inherent in developing a major cinematic release like The Equalizer 4. The international appeal of The Equalizer 4 is likely to play a significant role in its overall impact and commercial success. As global box office performance increasingly influences the viability of blockbuster films, the inclusion of diverse geographic locations, culturally resonant themes, and universally engaging narratives can enhance both visibility and audience investment. Previous installments have predominantly focused on urban American settings, emphasizing realism, moral complexity, and tightly choreographed action. For the fourth film, the incorporation of international locales, ranging from European cityscapes to strategically significant global regions, could expand the narrative scope, providing opportunities for visually striking sequences, cross-cultural conflicts, and thematic depth that resonates with global audiences. This geographic and cultural diversification not only enhances cinematic spectacle but also allows the filmmakers to explore moral, political, and social issues from multiple perspectives, reinforcing the franchise's relevance in an increasingly interconnected world. Cross-cultural resonance is another key factor in the film's anticipated success. Robert McCall, as a morally driven protagonist, operates according to principles that transcend national and cultural boundaries, emphasizing universal themes of justice, personal responsibility, and ethical action. This universality allows the narrative to appeal to audiences across diverse regions while maintaining a coherent thematic framework. By carefully constructing characters, antagonists, and plotlines that engage with issues familiar to global audiences, such as corruption, human trafficking, or organized crime, the film can create tension and investment while encouraging reflection on ethical dilemmas that are broadly recognizable. Moreover, cross-cultural resonance may be achieved not only through thematic content but also through stylistic and aesthetic choices, such as cinematography that highlights distinct environments, culturally specific visual cues, and music or soundscapes that subtly reinforce the narrative's global dimension. These choices ensure that the film is both accessible and compelling to viewers from a wide range of backgrounds, reinforcing the franchise's international credibility and appeal. Ethical dilemmas remain central to the Equalizer 4, continuing the franchise's tradition of exploring complex moral territory. Robert McCall's vigilantism is not simplistic, it operates within a framework that interrogates notions of justice, legality, and personal responsibility. The fourth installment may place McCall in scenarios where conventional moral judgments are insufficient, requiring him to navigate situations in which outcomes are uncertain, allies are morally ambiguous, and adversaries are strategically formidable. Such narrative challenges deepen the protagonist's characterization while encouraging audience reflection on the ethical dimensions of action and consequence. The integration of these dilemmas enhances narrative depth, creating a film that functions not only as entertainment but also as a medium for moral and philosophical inquiry. By emphasizing the consequences of decision-making, the interplay of morality and strategy, and the personal cost of justice, The Equalizer 4 reinforces the franchise's intellectual and ethical resonance. Strategic positioning in the global market is a further consideration for The Equalizer 4, particularly given the competitive landscape of international cinema. The franchise benefits from the combined draw of Denzel Washington's star power, Antoine Fuqua's directorial expertise, and a well-established narrative universe, all of which position the film favorably for global distribution and audience engagement. Marketing strategies are likely to emphasize both the character-driven and action-oriented aspects of the series, highlighting McCall's intelligence, moral complexity, and strategic prowess alongside visually compelling sequences. Coordinated promotional efforts across regions, timed releases in key markets, and engagement with local media channels can amplify the film's visibility and strengthen audience anticipation. Additionally, international partnerships in distribution and marketing may be leveraged to expand access and ensure that cultural nuances are respected, enhancing both reception and profitability. By carefully aligning narrative content, production values, and promotional strategies with the realities of global cinema, The Equalizer 4 can maximize its impact and reinforce the franchise's reputation as a culturally and commercially significant property. The integration of narrative, ethical, and international considerations also informs the anticipated cinematic style of The Equalizer 4. Action sequences are expected to combine practical stunts, immersive choreography, and cinematic realism, while narrative pacing ensures that ethical and strategic decision-making remain central to the story. Visual and auditory elements, including camera movement, lighting, sound design, and music scoring, are likely to complement the narrative, heightening tension, emphasizing moral stakes, and immersing viewers in McCall's perspective. International settings and culturally diverse characters provide additional opportunities for stylistic variation, enriching the visual texture and thematic resonance of the film. By uniting these elements, the filmmakers can create an experience that is both globally appealing and consistent with the franchise's established identity, ensuring that the fourth installment meets audience expectations while expanding the series' artistic and narrative horizons. Audience anticipation for The Equalizer 4 is heightened not only by narrative and aesthetic considerations but also by the broader context of contemporary cinematic consumption. Viewers now engage with films across multiple platforms, including theatrical releases, streaming services, social media, and interactive fan communities. This multi-platform engagement amplifies both interest and scrutiny, creating an environment in which narrative quality, ethical depth, and technical execution are evaluated in real time. For The Equalizer 4, this context underscores the importance of strategic marketing, careful plot development, and attention to character integrity. The integration of global themes, morally complex storytelling, and immersive action sequences positions the film to succeed across these platforms, reinforcing the franchise's adaptability and relevance in a rapidly evolving cinematic ecosystem. Finally, The Equalizer 4 represents an opportunity to consolidate the franchise's artistic, narrative, and commercial achievements while exploring new directions in international appeal, moral complexity, and cinematic execution. By balancing narrative sophistication, strategic action choreography, ethical reflection, and culturally resonant storytelling, the film has the potential to resonate across diverse audiences while sustaining the franchise's identity. Denzel Washington's portrayal of Robert McCall, Antoine Fuqua's directorial vision, and a strategically coordinated production and marketing framework collectively ensure that the fourth installment can achieve both critical and commercial success. This convergence of narrative ambition, technical craft, and global positioning underscores the film's significance within contemporary cinema and highlights the multifaceted approach necessary to maintain a major franchise in the modern film industry. Potential sequel setups in The Equalizer 4 are likely to be carefully woven into the narrative, reflecting the franchise's tradition of maintaining continuity while allowing for new storylines. Previous installments have gradually revealed layers of Robert McCall's past, his personal relationships, and his moral framework, leaving threads that can be further explored in subsequent films. The fourth installment presents an opportunity to expand these arcs, perhaps introducing new adversaries whose significance extends beyond the immediate narrative, or allies whose development hints at future conflicts or collaborations. Such setups can create anticipation for a fifth film or spin-offs, reinforcing the franchise's longevity and sustaining audience investment. Strategic placement of narrative elements, subtle foreshadowing, and open-ended resolutions allow the filmmakers to honor the storylines of prior films while establishing a foundation for future exploration, ensuring that the series remains both cohesive and expandable in the long term. Integration of fan theories into the narrative discourse is another notable aspect of the franchise's contemporary presence. Online speculation, ranging from character motivations to anticipated plot twists, has become an intrinsic part of audience engagement with the Equalizer series. While the filmmakers retain control over the canonical storyline, awareness of fan discourse can inform marketing decisions, promotional releases, and subtle narrative cues. The careful acknowledgement of fan expectations, without compromising creative autonomy, can enhance engagement and foster a sense of shared investment in the story. By strategically addressing fan theories, the fourth installment may reinforce audience loyalty while simultaneously maintaining narrative surprise, creating a dynamic interplay between speculation and official storytelling that enriches the viewing experience. This approach underscores the evolving relationship between franchise creators and audiences in modern cinema, where participatory culture significantly shapes reception and anticipation. The long-term legacy of the Equalizer franchise is closely tied to its unique combination of character-driven narrative, moral complexity, and immersive action. Unlike many contemporary action series that rely primarily on spectacle, the Equalizer films prioritize strategic thinking, ethical dilemmas, and emotionally resonant storytelling, providing a distinctive cinematic experience. The fourth installment has the potential to solidify this legacy, reinforcing the franchise's identity while demonstrating its adaptability to contemporary filmmaking trends. By sustaining thematic depth, narrative coherence, and technical excellence, The Equalizer 4 can contribute to a durable cultural presence, influencing both audience expectations and industry standards within the action thriller genre. Moreover, the film's integration of global settings, morally complex scenarios, and immersive action sequences positions the franchise as a model for balancing entertainment, ethical reflection, and commercial viability. Detailed cinematic comparisons further illuminate the franchise's distinctive positioning. When juxtaposed with series such as John Wick, Jason Bourne, or Taken, The Equalizer differentiates itself through its emphasis on cerebral problem-solving, methodical strategy, and ethical reflection. While these other franchises prioritize high-octane action and narrative immediacy, The Equalizer balances visceral excitement with intellectual engagement, crafting sequences that require both the protagonist and the audience to think critically about motives, consequences, and moral imperatives. This approach not only deepens character development but also enhances audience investment, creating a sustained narrative resonance that extends beyond individual set pieces. The fourth installment is poised to continue this tradition, offering action that is both thrilling and strategically grounded, complemented by thematic exploration that engages viewers on multiple levels. Comparisons with other franchises highlight the value of this hybrid approach, demonstrating that high-quality action thrillers can successfully integrate moral and cognitive dimensions without sacrificing excitement or pacing. The narrative structure of The Equalizer 4 is also expected to reflect careful attention to pacing, tension, and thematic layering. Action sequences are likely to be interspersed with quieter, introspective moments that explore character motivations, ethical dilemmas, and narrative consequences. This alternation between intensity and reflection allows audiences to process moral complexities while remaining engaged with the unfolding plot. Cinematographic techniques, including dynamic camera work, lighting variations, and careful framing, will reinforce narrative tension and underscore ethical stakes. Sound design and musical scoring further enhance immersion, emphasizing moments of suspense, conflict, and emotional significance. By coordinating these cinematic elements with narrative development, the fourth installment can maintain coherence, sustain audience engagement, and uphold the franchise's reputation for high-quality, thoughtful action cinema. The interplay between narrative innovation and franchise continuity will likely define both audience reception and critical assessment. While longtime fans expect adherence to established character traits, moral frameworks, and stylistic conventions, they also seek novelty in plot, setting, and thematic exploration. Successfully navigating this balance ensures that the fourth installment is both recognizable within the series and fresh in its contributions, preventing narrative stagnation while honoring franchise heritage. By introducing morally complex antagonists, expanding McCall's personal and professional challenges, and incorporating globally resonant contexts, The Equalizer 4 can satisfy these dual objectives, reinforcing audience loyalty while attracting new viewers. This careful calibration of continuity and innovation underscores the sophistication of franchise management in contemporary cinema, highlighting the intricate coordination of creative, technical, and marketing considerations. Finally, the strategic positioning of The Equalizer 4 within the broader action thriller landscape reflects both its artistic ambitions and commercial imperatives. The film is designed to resonate with audiences seeking intelligent, morally engaging narratives alongside immersive, high-intensity action sequences. Its potential international appeal, thoughtful integration of ethical dilemmas, and meticulous attention to production quality position the franchise as a benchmark for contemporary action thrillers. By leveraging established strengths, Denzel Washington's performance, Antoine Fuqua's direction, and a coherent narrative universe, while innovating in response to evolving audience expectations and global market dynamics, The Equalizer 4 demonstrates the capacity of a mature franchise to remain culturally, critically, and commercially relevant. This installment exemplifies the integration of narrative sophistication, cinematic craftsmanship, and strategic planning, highlighting the enduring potential of the franchise within the modern film industry. Detailed plot speculation for The Equalizer 4 centers on the potential evolution of Robert McCall's journey, exploring how new challenges may test his ethical framework, strategic intelligence, and emotional resilience. While official plot details remain undisclosed, patterns from previous installments suggest that the narrative will intertwine personal stakes with broader societal threats, creating a layered story that balances individual action with systemic consequences. McCall's confrontations are unlikely to be isolated or purely physical, Instead, they may involve complex networks of adversaries, hidden agendas, and morally ambiguous situations that require careful planning, foresight, and analytical thinking. The plot could integrate elements of international intrigue, cross-cultural tension, or transnational crime, allowing McCall to operate on both local and global scales while emphasizing his adaptability, intelligence, and commitment to justice. By blending tightly choreographed action sequences with multi-layered storytelling, the fourth installment is positioned to maintain audience engagement while expanding the narrative scope of the franchise. Potential antagonist dynamics in the Equalizer 4 are particularly important for heightening tension, deepening character development, and exploring moral and ethical themes. Previous films have demonstrated that McCall's adversaries are often complex, morally ambiguous figures whose actions challenge his principles and strategic abilities. In the fourth film, the antagonists may possess motivations that are not purely villainous but are shaped by personal grievances, ideological conflicts, or systemic corruption, creating opportunities for ethical reflection and narrative unpredictability. These dynamics enable the film to explore the interplay between justice and vengeance, highlighting the fine line that McCall navigates as he operates outside conventional legal frameworks. Well-developed antagonists provide not only dramatic tension but also philosophical counterpoints to McCall's worldview, forcing him to reconsider assumptions, adapt strategies, and confront the consequences of his interventions. The careful construction of these adversaries ensures that the narrative remains compelling, morally intricate, and thematically resonant, providing audiences with both intellectual stimulation and cinematic excitement. Thematic symbolism is another critical element likely to be emphasized in the Equalizer 4. Symbolism may emerge through recurring visual motifs, character actions, environmental design, or narrative devices that reflect the film's exploration of justice, responsibility, and moral clarity versus ambiguity. For example, urban landscapes may serve as metaphors for societal complexity, highlighting the contrast between appearance and underlying corruption, while specific objects, gestures, or sequences could carry layered meaning related to McCall's ethical deliberations. Such symbolism not only enriches the narrative but also invites audiences to engage in interpretive reflection, transforming the film from a purely action-driven experience into a thoughtful meditation on morality, consequence, and human agency. By integrating visual, narrative, and thematic symbolism, The Equalizer 4 continues the franchise's commitment to producing intellectually engaging action thrillers that reward both immediate excitement and deeper contemplation. In-depth analysis of Robert McCall's moral philosophy further illuminates the intellectual core of the franchise. McCall operates according to a principled code that emphasizes justice, protection of the vulnerable, and measured intervention, balancing strategic foresight with ethical responsibility. Unlike protagonists who act solely in response to external stimuli or personal vendettas, McCall evaluates the moral weight of each decision, considering potential outcomes, collateral effects, and the broader implications of his actions. This philosophical rigor positions him as a character whose intelligence, ethical discernment, and tactical acumen are as central to the narrative as his combat skills. The fourth installment may challenge these principles by introducing dilemmas in which conventional ethical guidelines conflict with immediate needs, requiring McCall to navigate complex moral landscapes with nuance, foresight, and integrity. By foregrounding McCall's moral reasoning alongside narrative and action elements, the film reinforces the franchise's distinctive appeal, combining high-intensity sequences with meaningful ethical engagement. The interplay between plot, antagonist complexity, thematic symbolism, and McCall's moral philosophy creates opportunities for narrative depth and audience reflection. As McCall confronts multidimensional adversaries, navigates detailed speculation regarding action sequences in The Equalizer 4 emphasizes the franchise's established commitment to realism, strategic complexity, and immersive choreography. Past installments have showcased Robert McCall's ability to navigate high-stakes confrontations using intelligence, precision, and resourcefulness, rather than relying solely on brute force or excessive CGI. The fourth film is likely to expand on this formula, integrating multi-layered action sequences that challenge both the protagonist and the audience to anticipate his next moves. These sequences may involve environmental interaction, such as using architectural structures, urban landscapes, or confined interiors as tactical advantages, highlighting McCall's analytical skills and adaptability. The choreography may also include stealth operations, close-quarters combat, high-speed pursuits, and synchronized maneuvers that require precision timing and careful spatial awareness. By combining variety, realism, and narrative integration, the action sequences can simultaneously thrill viewers and reinforce character intelligence, creating a cohesive cinematic experience. Cinematography in The Equalizer 4 is expected to complement the narrative, thematic, and action elements, enhancing immersion while underscoring ethical and emotional stakes. Dynamic camera movements, including tracking shots, rapid pans, and carefully framed close-ups, can emphasize the intensity of combat while allowing audiences to follow McCall's strategic decision-making in real time. Lighting design may further reinforce thematic contrast, using shadows and highlights to reflect moral ambiguity or tension within specific scenes. Environmental framing can convey both scale and vulnerability, providing context for McCall's actions and heightening suspense. The interplay between wide establishing shots and tight, intimate perspectives allows the audience to oscillate between observing the larger conflict and empathizing with McCall's personal stakes. This cinematographic approach reinforces the franchise's signature balance between high-octane action and narrative depth, ensuring that each sequence is visually compelling while narratively meaningful. Sound design in The Equalizer 4 is anticipated to play a critical role in shaping tension, rhythm, and emotional engagement. The franchise has historically employed sound to enhance both action and psychological immersion, emphasizing diegetic noise, subtle environmental cues, and the auditory impact of combat sequences. For the fourth installment, careful layering of sound effects, such as footsteps, weapon discharges, environmental interaction, and ambient city noise, can heighten realism and immerse viewers in the spatial and tactical dynamics of each scene. Music scoring is likely to reinforce both pacing and emotional resonance, alternating between intense, pulse-driven motifs during high-stakes action and subdued, contemplative themes during reflective or morally complex moments. By integrating sound design with cinematography and narrative, the filmmakers can create a multisensory experience that engages audiences intellectually, emotionally, and viscerally. Pacing strategies in The Equalizer 4 are expected to balance kinetic intensity with narrative reflection, maintaining engagement while allowing space for ethical and emotional contemplation. The alternation between rapid, high-adrenaline sequences and quieter, strategic interludes provides rhythm to the storytelling, enabling audiences to absorb the stakes, character motivations, and moral dilemmas without sacrificing excitement. Careful calibration of pacing ensures that tension is sustained across the film, with moments of respite serving to deepen understanding of McCall's strategic planning, ethical reasoning, and personal stakes. This approach also facilitates character development, allowing for nuanced exploration of relationships, vulnerabilities, and internal conflict, which enhances the emotional impact of the climactic sequences. Emotional engagement is a central component of The Equalizer 4's anticipated cinematic strategy. Robert McCall's moral integrity, strategic intelligence, and personal stakes provide audiences with points of empathy and intellectual investment. By confronting ethically ambiguous situations, morally complex adversaries, and personal challenges, McCall serves as both a reflective lens and an action-driven protagonist. Audiences are invited to consider the consequences of justice, the costs of vigilantism, and the moral dimensions of intervention, creating a layered emotional and cognitive experience. Emotional investment is further reinforced by character interactions, visual storytelling, and narrative pacing, ensuring that viewers remain connected to both the protagonist and the unfolding moral landscape. This blend of intellectual and emotional engagement enhances the franchise's appeal, distinguishing The Equalizer 4 from action films that prioritize spectacle over substantive character and narrative depth. Finally, the integration of action choreography, cinematography, sound design, pacing, and emotional engagement underscores the holistic approach of The Equalizer 4. Each component is designed to complement the others, creating a unified cinematic experience that is simultaneously thrilling, morally resonant, and visually immersive. By sustaining this balance, the fourth installment has the potential to reinforce the franchise's reputation for high-quality action thriller storytelling while introducing new levels of narrative complexity, technical sophistication, and audience engagement. This careful orchestration reflects the franchise's enduring commitment to producing films that combine visceral excitement with intellectual and emotional depth, ensuring that The Equalizer 4 continues to resonate with audiences on multiple levels. Potential critical reception of The Equalizer 4 is likely to hinge on several interrelated factors, including narrative sophistication, character development, technical execution, and thematic resonance. Critics may evaluate the film based on how effectively it balances high-intensity action with ethical complexity and intellectual engagement, assessing whether Robert McCall's strategic thinking and moral philosophy are integrated meaningfully into the storytelling. The franchise's previous installments have generally received positive recognition for their distinctive combination of cerebral problem-solving, moral reflection, and immersive combat sequences, suggesting that the fourth film could continue this trend. Critical appraisal may also consider cinematography, sound design, and pacing, analyzing how these elements contribute to both visual and emotional impact. Positive reception is likely to emphasize the franchise's ability to elevate the action thriller genre through thoughtful narrative construction, nuanced character work, and innovative action choreography. Conversely, criticism could arise if the balance between spectacle and substance is perceived as compromised, underscoring the high expectations placed on a mature franchise installment with an established reputation. Comparative analysis with genre peers highlights The Equalizer 4's distinctive positioning within contemporary action thrillers. Unlike series such as John Wick, Mission Impossible, or the Bourne franchise, which often prioritize continuous spectacle, rapid pacing, or espionage-oriented plot mechanics, The Equalizer maintains a focus on character-driven decision-making, ethical inquiry, and strategic combat. This differentiation allows the franchise to appeal to audiences who seek more than visual stimulation, providing a narrative that encourages both emotional and intellectual engagement. The fourth installment may continue to expand these distinctions, incorporating morally ambiguous antagonists, globally resonant settings, and thoughtfully choreographed sequences that require viewers to analyze consequences and strategic reasoning. Comparative evaluation further positions The Equalizer as a benchmark for blending cerebral storytelling with immersive action, reinforcing its identity within a crowded cinematic landscape and highlighting its potential influence on emerging action thriller productions. Awards potential for The Equalizer 4, while typically less emphasized in the action thriller genre, could emerge in several domains, particularly in technical categories such as cinematography, sound design, stunt coordination, and visual editing. The franchise's commitment to realistic, high-intensity choreography combined with immersive sound and lighting design could attract recognition from industry guilds and award bodies focused on technical excellence. Additionally, Denzel Washington's performance, reflecting the intellectual, ethical, and emotional depth of Robert McCall, may garner consideration for acting accolades, particularly if the fourth film continues to explore complex moral dilemmas and character evolution. While mainstream awards for action films remain competitive and selective, the combination of high-caliber technical execution, nuanced performance, and sophisticated storytelling positions The Equalizer 4 as a potential candidate for recognition within both specialized and broader cinematic award circuits. The influence of The Equalizer 4 on future action thriller filmmaking may be considerable, given the franchise's unique integration of moral philosophy, narrative complexity, and technical craftsmanship. By demonstrating that high-quality action cinema can coexist with intellectual engagement, ethical reflection, and character-driven plotting, the film may serve as a model for emerging directors and writers seeking to innovate within the genre. Its emphasis on realistic, strategically grounded action choreography, coupled with globally resonant thematic exploration, could inspire similar approaches in subsequent productions, influencing both stylistic and narrative conventions in the field. Additionally, the fourth installment's anticipated success in blending emotional engagement with suspenseful action sequences may encourage studios to invest in films that prioritize both cerebral and visceral elements, challenging the perception that blockbuster action cinema must rely predominantly on spectacle or formulaic plot structures. The franchise's role as a standard-bearer within action thrillers further emphasizes its potential to shape audience expectations and critical benchmarks. The Equalizer series has consistently demonstrated that audiences are receptive to morally complex protagonists, strategically intricate conflict, and narratives that reward analytical engagement, suggesting that The Equalizer 4 could reinforce and expand these expectations. By setting high standards for character depth, thematic coherence, and immersive technical execution, the film contributes to the broader evolution of the genre, elevating the perceived potential of action thriller cinema to encompass both entertainment and reflective inquiry. The cumulative impact of these qualities positions the fourth installment not only as a continuation of a successful franchise but also as a touchstone for future explorations of ethical complexity and narrative sophistication within the genre. Audience and critical reception will inevitably intersect with the film's broader industry implications. The successful execution of The Equalizer may forth encourage studios to prioritize narrative intelligence, moral inquiry, and thoughtful character development in action-oriented franchises, reinforcing the value of story-driven spectacle in an era dominated by visual effects and large-scale set pieces. Moreover, the franchise's capacity to integrate international settings, culturally resonant themes, and globally accessible narratives may influence distribution and marketing strategies, underscoring the importance of cross-cultural relevance in contemporary cinema. The fourth installment's influence is thus likely to extend beyond immediate box office performance, shaping production practices, audience expectations, and genre conventions for subsequent action thriller films. Finally, The Equalizer 4 exemplifies the intersection of creative ambition, technical craftsmanship, and commercial strategy. By harmonizing action choreography, narrative depth, moral inquiry, cinematographic innovation, and sound design, the film demonstrates the capacity of a mature franchise to evolve while maintaining coherence and identity. Its anticipated critical reception, comparative standing within the genre, awards potential, and influence on future filmmaking underscore the multifaceted significance of the project, reflecting both the franchise's established strengths and its potential to redefine expectations within the action thriller landscape. In synthesizing these elements, The Equalizer 4 highlights the enduring relevance of character-driven, ethically reflective, and technically accomplished cinema, affirming its role as a culturally and commercially impactful installment within contemporary film. Fan engagement metrics for The Equalizer 4 are expected to play a pivotal role in shaping the film's pre-release anticipation and post-release cultural footprint. In the contemporary cinematic ecosystem, audiences are not passive consumers but active participants in discourse, speculation, and promotion. Social media platforms, online forums, fan art, and discussion threads contribute to a participatory culture where engagement is measured through likes, shares, comments, and the circulation of fan-generated content. For The Equalizer 4, tracking these metrics allows the studio to gauge audience excitement, anticipate areas of narrative interest, and adjust promotional strategies accordingly. Engagement is likely to peak around trailer releases, casting announcements, and behind-the-scenes content, offering measurable insight into which aspects of the film resonate most strongly with fans. By analyzing these metrics, studios can optimize marketing efforts, highlight narrative elements with the highest perceived impact, and cultivate a sustained conversation leading up to the release, ensuring both commercial and cultural relevance. Merchandising potential for The Equalizer 4 also represents a strategic avenue for revenue generation and fan connection. While action thrillers traditionally focus less on toy lines compared to superhero franchises, merchandise such as collectible figures, branded apparel, tactical gear replicas, and limited edition promotional items can foster audience loyalty and extend the narrative universe beyond the screen. Collaborations with global retailers or limited-time promotional campaigns can capitalize on fan enthusiasm, creating tangible connections to the film and reinforcing its cultural presence. Additionally, digital collectibles, such as NFTs or interactive online experiences, may further engage tech-savvy audiences, providing innovative opportunities to monetize fan interest while maintaining alignment with the franchise's aesthetic and narrative identity. Merchandise strategies can also reinforce character branding, emphasizing Robert McCall's distinctive persona, moral integrity, and strategic intelligence, ensuring that fans feel a continued connection to the story and its themes. Digital strategy surrounding the Equalizer 4 is anticipated to be multifaceted, reflecting contemporary trends in film promotion and audience interaction. Beyond traditional trailers and teasers, studios may leverage immersive digital experiences, augmented reality previews, interactive storytelling apps, and behind-the-scenes web content to expand engagement. Social media campaigns can create viral moments, fan challenges, and thematic discussions that sustain anticipation and broaden the film's reach. Streaming platforms and on-demand previews may also play a role, providing early access to select audiences or leveraging platform partnerships to generate buzz. By integrating digital strategy with marketing, narrative, and fan engagement, the Equalizer 4 can cultivate a holistic ecosystem that enhances audience participation, strengthens franchise visibility, and maximizes both commercial and cultural impact. Cultural relevance is another critical dimension for the Equalizer 4, as the franchise has historically engaged with themes of justice, morality, and individual responsibility in a manner that resonates with contemporary social concerns. Robert McCall's vigilantism offers a lens through which audiences can examine ethical dilemmas, systemic corruption, and the consequences of intervention, providing a narrative that extends beyond mere entertainment. The fourth installment may further explore globally relevant issues, including human rights, organized crime, and ethical conflicts in diverse socio-political contexts, creating opportunities for dialogue, reflection, and analysis. This cultural resonance enhances the franchise's standing as a meaningful contributor to public discourse, positioning the Equalizer 4 not only as a blockbuster but also as a narrative that engages with pressing moral and societal questions. By balancing action, narrative depth, and cultural awareness, the film underscores the franchise's capacity to merge entertainment with reflection, sustaining long-term relevance. Franchise longevity is closely linked to the successful integration of these elements: fan engagement, merchandising, digital strategy, and cultural resonance. The Equalizer series has built a reputation for blending cerebral storytelling, ethical exploration, and immersive action, creating a foundation for continued success. The fourth installment's ability to expand narrative horizons, introduce compelling adversaries, explore complex moral landscapes, and appeal to global audiences positions the franchise for sustained relevance. Careful planning of potential sequel setups, character development arcs, and narrative continuity ensures that future installments can build upon the foundation established by prior films, maintaining cohesion while introducing fresh creative directions. Additionally, the integration of digital engagement and merchandise strategies extends the franchise's presence beyond the cinematic experience, allowing audiences to interact with the narrative universe across multiple platforms. These factors collectively contribute to the long-term viability and enduring appeal of the Equalizer franchise, demonstrating how strategic creativity, technological integration, and audience-centered planning support franchise longevity in modern cinema. The confluence of fan engagement metrics, merchandising opportunities, digital strategy, cultural relevance, and narrative continuity underscores the multifaceted approach necessary to sustain a high-profile franchise like the Equalizer. Each component reinforces the others, creating a synergistic system in which audience interest, commercial potential, and cultural impact are mutually supportive. By leveraging these elements effectively, the Equalizer 4 can secure both immediate box office success and enduring franchise strength, ensuring that the series continues to resonate with audiences across generations and geographies. This holistic strategy exemplifies contemporary franchise management, highlighting the interplay between creative, technical, and commercial considerations in achieving sustained relevance and influence within the action thriller genre. Finally, the franchise's integration of ethical depth, strategic action, global storytelling, and audience interactivity positions the Equalizer 4 as a model for modern cinematic sustainability. By aligning narrative sophistication with technological engagement, merchandising initiatives, and culturally resonant storytelling, the fourth installment strengthens the series' identity while expanding its creative and commercial horizons. This strategic approach not only ensures the film's success upon release but also reinforces the franchise's long-term impact, establishing a blueprint for how action thrillers can maintain artistic integrity, audience engagement, and global relevance in an increasingly competitive and interconnected cinematic landscape. Production design in the Equalizer 4 is expected to play a pivotal role in shaping both the visual aesthetic and narrative tone of the film. Past installments have utilized urban environments, industrial interiors, and carefully selected real-world locations to create immersive backdrops that enhance the story's realism and thematic resonance. The fourth installment may expand this approach by incorporating international settings, architectural diversity, and meticulously designed interior spaces that reflect character psychology and narrative stakes. Each location, whether a bustling city street, a high-tech corporate environment, or a dimly lit hideout, is likely to be chosen with deliberate intent, supporting the narrative's tension, pacing, and ethical undertones. The production design team's challenge lies in harmonizing aesthetic appeal with narrative utility, ensuring that every environment contributes meaningfully to both visual storytelling and audience immersion. Costume and prop design also serve as critical narrative tools in the Equalizer 4, reinforcing character identity, status, and psychological nuance. Robert McCall's wardrobe, traditionally understated yet functionally tactical, communicates his strategic mind, professional precision, and moral seriousness. Costumes may be adapted to reflect both global locales and narrative developments, balancing practicality for action sequences with subtle cues about character evolution or narrative context. Props, ranging from tactical gadgets to everyday objects repurposed for strategic advantage, reinforce the protagonist's ingenuity and tactical prowess. Every item, from McCall's tools to items associated with antagonists or allies, carries symbolic and functional weight, enhancing storytelling while contributing to the film's immersive realism. Attention to detail in costumes and props ensures that audiences perceive a coherent visual and thematic language that complements narrative depth and character consistency. Set location significance is another key aspect of the Equalizer 4's production, influencing both narrative plausibility and cinematic impact. Urban environments, industrial complexes, and international landmarks can serve as strategic backdrops for action sequences, plot development, and thematic exploration. Locations are not merely visual settings but narrative devices, reflecting societal dynamics, moral landscapes, and character psychology. For example, densely populated cityscapes may heighten tension and underscore McCall's strategic calculations, while isolated or confined spaces can emphasize vulnerability, ethical stakes, or psychological intensity. Selection of authentic locations enhances narrative credibility, providing texture, context, and realism that studio sets or CGI alone cannot fully replicate. By thoughtfully integrating location significance into narrative planning, the Equalizer 4 strengthens its capacity to engage audiences both visually and intellectually. Collaborative crew insights illuminate the extensive coordination required to achieve the film's complex vision. Antoine Fuqua's directorial style emphasizes close collaboration between departments, ensuring that cinematography, production design, costume, sound, stunts, and visual effects align seamlessly with narrative and thematic goals. Each creative decision, whether lighting a high-intensity fight scene, choreographing tactical maneuvers, or arranging set elements to reinforce moral symbolism, is informed by collective expertise and meticulous planning. Coordination between departments ensures that technical execution supports narrative clarity, audience immersion, and emotional resonance. This collaborative ethos also extends to strategic problem-solving, allowing the crew to adapt dynamically to logistical challenges, environmental constraints, and evolving narrative requirements while maintaining a coherent artistic vision. Behind-the-scenes logistics further illustrate the complexity of producing a high-caliber action thriller like The Equalizer 4. Filming schedules, stunt coordination, equipment management, location permits, safety protocols, and contingency planning are critical to executing the director's vision while protecting cast and crew. The scale and intensity of action sequences necessitate rigorous rehearsal, precise timing, and adherence to safety standards, particularly when practical effects or complex environmental interactions are involved. Logistics also encompass cross-departmental communication, budget management, and scheduling coordination, ensuring that every element of production aligns with both creative ambitions and practical constraints. Efficient management of these logistical challenges is essential to maintaining narrative coherence, technical precision, and overall production quality, ultimately contributing to a film that delivers both spectacle and substance.